Yeah. What we got?
Coach, two quick questions on the Evans touchdown. First, was it a play call or an audible?
On the 75-yard
Yes.
touchdown, it was a play call, and it was a great read by the quarterback. You know, he's got his cues on that play, took it through a perfect ball. Mike ran a perfect route, something we've been stressing all year with the guys. Very similar to Rock Jarrett's catch against the Niners, you know, just having the discipline of footwork there. So, I mean, we were really stoked about that play.
And you started into my second question. Baker said beforehand that he wasn't the primary, but the safety rolled to one high.
Yeah.
How nice is it to your quarterback to get making those post-snap reads?
Yo, that's the design of it, you know. And so again, you know, we try to, you know, put our best guys in the spots, and then, you know, based on what the defense does, you know, the ball finds our guys. And again, just the execution and really, you know, being able to really test Mike's legs out on that play right there, and he showed he could finish. And what a fantastic, you know, dive right there to have the presence of mind to keep that foot in bounds. I mean, how close was it that they didn't even call it a touchdown? But yeah, we were thrilled about that.
What about being able to get Chris Godwin a little win in there too? Because
Yeah.
he was a guy we really didn't see targeted in that
Yeah.
game. We know he's dealing with a neck injury, and that can weigh on guys. So for him to be able to make an impact, a timely impact, when he did with that true play.
What a huge reminder for me, right? The guy's just magic with the ball. And so I have to do a better job. I come up here and say it every week. And, you know, I'm not satisfied with, you know, how we're using Chris in our offense. He's a huge part of what we do. Again, just speaking to that point, you know, just a lot of the ways we get the ball quick in touches, you know, has been going a lot to Trey and to DT, you know. And so some of those things that are designed to them, like Chris, he's averaging about 10 yards when we get him the ball behind the line of scrimmage on things that he's done well in the past. So I got to be more aware of spreading those types of touches out, because he does have such a knack with the ball after the catch.
Where do you fall on the assertion that Todd Bowles had that the reason he had 0 catches is because he was in and out of the game because he was nicked up?
Well, I mean, just the numbers show like 82% of the snaps, that's a full load. You know, I think we had reinforcements ready because he was on the injury reports working through some things throughout the week. And so we had David Moore, Ryan Miller ready, prepared and ready to go to just see what happened. But to Chris's credit, you know, he prepared his body, he prepared his mind right. He stayed focused and engaged throughout the practices as we were working some of those things. And then is just a stud on game day, you know, and battled through it, and still, you know, he had the one opportunity to make a play, and he did, you know. So again, just back to my point, knowing that I can trust that, you know, throughout the season, that he'll work through things and still be available for us in a big way as we need him.
He hasn't run the ball a lot in his career. That was just a second rushing touchdown. Is that a wrinkle that you'd like to see more of in using him?
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, we had the one in Buffalo. I think he got 11 on it, and then that one, you know, he took it all the way to the house. So just another thing for me, another piece of the puzzle that we can say, okay, when we got Mike and Chris out there with 2 tight ends, there's some other cool things we can do with the run game for Chris, as well as the quick screen stuff that I know that all of you are used to seeing to get him going.
Coach, what about involving Chris Godwin down the field?
Yeah.
He has 8 targets of more than 20 or more yards,
Yeah.
but has 0 catches.
Yeah.
While Mike Evans has done so much of his damage down the field.
Yeah.
What can you say about maybe getting him involved in that aspect?
I think it's a chemistry thing. There were a couple of shots early on in the season, you know, with just Baker, just the me to you factor, Baker throwing to Chris, seeing how he wins, how he holds his surface, you know, the angles that he takes on those. That's something that we have to continue to improve to find ways to get that done. I mean, some near misses, you know, balls out of bounds, a little bit just out of his reach and stuff like that. So.
The running game has improved as of late.
Yeah.
You're able to close the game out with a big run from Rashad.
Man, that
What
was
would you
huge.
credit to just what's been working and finding success?
Yeah, Goody, Joe, Skip, John Van Dam, Coach Moore, Jordan Somerville, you know, those are the primary run pod guys that try to make sure that we're getting the right combinations against the right fronts, having answers for what if they do this, what if they do that, and just becoming us as a run game. So those guys have done a fantastic job giving us variety. You know, some of our runs have been static, you know, but we do have our gun runs that give us a little bit of options outside. And I can't be more thrilled with the direction that we're going there. And then you're just seeing really a lot of improved fundamental play from a group that now has games upon games stacking together, the communications, all those, the verbal and nonverbal, the physical communication within a combo that happens as you commit yourself to continue to try to run the ball. So love where we're headed. Rashad, Chase, all the guys just continue to learn where these runs hit and having patience with it.
You've done this a lot as an assistant, but your first chance as a coordinator, as a play caller, to go against a divisional opponent for the second time when you have a game this year of how they handled your offense. Is that a fun thing, and what is that like to anticipate the counter moves that they're going to make as well?
Yeah, I think it's really important after we play them the first time to kind of go back through what wasn't called that we liked first and foremost, and then the things we thought we liked, how did they counter it? How did they take those things away, or wish we would have had this pass on this situation? Wish we would have started off with these types of runs in the game early on as we kind of learn how they're playing it and how they're hitting their combos. So that's kind of how we approach it. There is what can we carry over, and then what can we build off of what we did the first time. And I thought they played a fantastic game against us. We had a couple of big runs come away from us because of holding calls that Rashad had. And then we were just, as you guys remember, early in the season, we were a little bit sloppy with the cadence and with alignments and things like that. Things we've cleaned up for the most part. It's not been perfect, but a lot of those things, a young group just kind of coming and playing cleaner ball will help us be more efficient this time. But, I really respect the job that Coach Nilsson did just defending us in that game and really making it hard for us to run the ball.
If you had a vote for most improved from week 1, who would it be?
Cody Mock, for sure. I would say Cody Mock, just being thrown into the fire, and just kind of battling his way like we've talked about before, working through the issues. But I think there's a depth to his person that he doesn't get shaken, where a lot of times you get a rookie and all of a sudden they start losing confidence. You start thinking about, should we be playing a veteran in this spot, and I just saw him stay steady. He's got that hard work ethic, and he's just a really even-keeled guy. And he's really smart, so to see him process those things but not over-process it to the point where it was crippling to his performance, I can't be more proud of the progress he's made.
He said, that after the San Francisco game, that's where things kind of slowed down for him.
Yeah.
Is that where you you mentioned it before, San Francisco, he really stepped up?
Yeah.
What do you think clicked there for him?
First and foremost, just his fundamentals, his footwork and his hand placement, where he puts his helmet at. I saw him really take a leap in that game. And then for him to have success against a great player in Armstead, will do a lot for your confidence. And we've had similar situations in Seattle with J.R. Sweezy going from D-line to offense, and his first career starts against Darnell Dockett from the Arizona Cardinals in his prime, just a monster 3 technique. And but again, the same type of character with him, with Cody, was just being able to work through those things, stay on the course, and just keep improving weekly to the point where he became a really good player in an offensive line that took us to the championship the following year. So I love the fact that Cody's able to do that.
Dave, can you just, one last thing on Godwin, could
Yeah.
you just clarify,
Yeah.
His wife went on social media and took some shots at, the head coach.
Yeah.
We have never heard him complain
Yeah.
in the media. Has he been unhappy with his targets, or was that just from his wife, or?
Well, he and I had a great conversation. I like to keep, most of that, between us, but I think the one thing that I can share is we share equal frustration with this thing, and the excitement that I had coming into this season. Now, by no means has he not been productive. Last game was obviously, I got to do a way better job being able to get him involved in a game like that with the matchups we had. But he's still getting targets. He's still in the 50s in receptions, and he's a big part of what we do, and if you compare that across the league versus for other number 2 receivers, like he's still a big part of what we do. I would love to see more, because I know there's that great player that all of you have seen firsthand, and I want to make that come to life for us to just help us on what our goal is to win this division and to set ourselves up long term. So.
How much of injuries taking a bite out of him, though? I know you weren't here
Yeah.
last year or previous to his injuries, but he is fighting through like a lot of guys.
Yeah.
And you don't see the separation with him in all the analytics that people keep.
I think that Chris wins in his own way. The bottom line with Chris is he's such a strong catcher. He just needs a surface, and he's consistently doing that, setting guys up, making himself available. And again, talking about just the play of offense in general for the quarterback, by no means am I going to go into this game and say, Baker, You got to force this ball into Chris. I want Baker to see the shell. I want him to see the matchup. I want him to take it all in and take the ball where he feels the most confident about what the look tells him to do, you know? So that's kind of something I just wanted to share with all of you is I can't go do the other thing and try to start forcing balls to guys. I want the system in the offense to continue to grow and fit in that way. I hope that answers it.
At his pass production too. I mean,
Yeah.
he was in a slot mostly,
Yeah.
playing with Tom Brady, who, I mean, you go through the list of slot receivers he's utilized.
Yeah.
The production's come down a bit, but
Yeah.
that's to be expected with the move to be outside.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll talk to that too. So if you really talk about like first and second down, when we have multiple tight end sets, that's going to put Chris outside a lot. Why? Because there are two best receivers. Chris and Mike are our two best guys. We do have some slot combos, but we love getting these matchups. And we take a look at these weeks and we see, okay, they got these two corners, okay? Where's my matchups at? Well, I love to take advantage of it in 12 with Chris out there. So that's where a lot of the outside, but if you do look at how we play Chris on third down, how we play him in the red zone, he ends up in the slot quite a bit, whether the letter on the picture says Z or F, which is traditionally the slot letter for us in our offense. We put him in there. We try to utilize him inside to get those matchups. He's always a physical matchup on whatever nickel DB or safety they put inside. So, but I think just the volume of how much he's out there too, he's going to end up outside some as well, you know. So, and the challenge too is like, I want to continue to just challenge him and push him also as he grows as an outside receiver to be able to be that big, reliable target out there as well. And yeah, go ahead.
You know, Baker Mayfield said something interesting Sunday night.
Yeah.
He said he was glad, one reason he was glad Evans got the record, he didn't want to be the guy who broke Evans' record. He didn't want to be responsible. I'm not saying Baker's forcing anything,
Right.
but maybe in the back of his mind, he's paying more attention to Evans than Godwin.
Everybody in the stadium, right? Us, the defense, you know, Baker. I mean, you look at some of the catches that Mike has made for us this year. It's just that's an understanding that we all have, you know. And I think that if, you know, 12 targets for Mike, you know, that's a really good day for us, you know. And I've always kind of, you know, even when I was in Seattle, but now here, I go, guys, whenever we have Chris or Mike running full speed after the catch, we did our job. Because we designed a play that attacks a certain defense, and if they're screaming and running afterwards, that was a really cool design. So I think we're all, you know, tied into where's Mike at, you know, the whole football world is, you know. So I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that. But again, I would love to get Chris going in a real way.
How would you see Mike's game evolve in your new system?
You know, we're just giving him new toys to play with. That's all. So he's run every route you can think of in the route tree. And, you know, talking about, you know, what they did before, you know, in the pass game that was so prolific here, you know, with the Bucs, and, you know, just trying to give him some different things in our play pass game that they might not have had before, or some of the RPOs that wasn't really big around here. So those are some of the cool things that he really just showed, like he's got a whole other part of his game that he can do. So I love what he's been doing, you know, with that. And he'll tell you, he'll be the first one to tell you too, like he's still learning some of these routes and the details of how to do it. And that seam route, the 75-yarder, was like classic point to that right there, of him just kind of buying into the depth of it, you know, the footwork of it, the surface coming out of it, and all that stuff. So I'm glad it happened for us.
Is there any area in particular that he's really improved on that you see this year? I mean, he was a guy that didn't have a lot of yak in years past, and so
Yeah.
every year we talked to him, that was always kind of been a goal for him. And the play kind of was the epitome of that.
Yeah, I mean, that may be, you know, I wasn't here before, so I don't have all of those things banked in my memory, but I do see him just having a plan after the catch, you know, and having that free hand ready to break tackles. So.
Coach, you talked about where Cody has improved a lot from week
Yeah.
1 to week 14. Kind of curious how you think you've improved or what you've learned
Yeah.
over the course of the season as a play caller.
Appreciate you asking that. Good. So, like, the cool part about my job is I get to watch around the league and learn from a bunch of really experienced play callers. And so for me, it's like every week is a lesson, you know, and we play the Falcons the first time. We got a little bit over a minute left. I throw the ball 3 times and give them a chance to go back down and get a field goal, you know. We've made gains in that regard, you know, in terms of just clock management. Can I sneak in a run or a screen right here and still be able to function without being in a hurry up? So that's kind of one of the ways, is just balancing some of those known pass situations, whether it's a draw or a screen, some of those things there. And then also just like being able to be disciplined for myself on when we do have a big play designed for a specific coverage, not to get so excited that I'll prematurely call it in a place it doesn't quite fit, and really being patient for those 70% or better type of situations to attack the coverage. So that's one place I think for sure for me. And then of course, just, dealing with all the other things that come with this job, and dealing with, the, different conversations, different pressures and all that, and being able to take it all in and really just get myself back to the basics of, okay, but fundamentally we can still just improve here and having that type of discipline. So
How about the pressure of this game? Because,
Yeah.
You've been building.
Yeah.
But there's no more tomorrow, sort of, with
No
the
doubt.
way it is with Atlanta and this division, even, you're still alive.
Yeah.
So what is this week of preparation like with your players in terms of understanding that gravity of that?
hopefully I've conveyed to them the gravity of preseason one throughout. That's just the way I was raised, the way I was trained under Pete, was every game is a championship opportunity. And I truly believe that. I was just as nervous before any of our preseason games as I was last week, knowing how big that game was for us for a lot of different reasons, And what I don't want is for guys to go, hey, but it's the Falcons, so now we really got to go. Because then what does that say about the rest of our preparation, all the hard work that the coaching staff and the players have put into all the other games? They all matter. And I know that's cliche, but hoping that we can convey that to our group is let's always be preparing like it's a championship opportunity. So when they come, we're right up on it. We're playing for the division championship every single week here. It's nothing new for them, that they can wear that load comfortably, and still continue to do our work and stay focused on a day-to-day basis.
What's your message to the team this week?
Message to the team, no different. Our goal is 1-0, and we're in pursuit of the division championship. And it's the same MO. How are we going to do that? By taking care of the ball, by having great effort and playing smart and having answers for different things that they do. And if we can just stay focused on that, and trying to convince the guys, we've had a couple of turnovers, and even in the last Falcons game, we had 2, but if we can really focus on having the right play design, then it does help minimize those interceptions or those fumbles, because it's a leverage game, and so if you haven't won by leverage on the route, can we go to the next one? For the run game, if we run it into bad leverage, the running back's in peril, so I think just keep staying consistent on some of those principles so that the guys can feel this is the consistency I want you to know you can expect from us, from myself and from our staff. Good. Thank you all. All right, appreciate it.